Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cow Daily on Monday, the 20th of February, 2023. That was the most formal introduction we've ever done. I see people are joining the thread. The thread? I'm too used to writing. People are joining the stream. Let us know in the comments if you're around. Firstly, as is now customary, I'd like to start with an apology. We're starting an hour past the usual noon time. As some of you know, I've been up every night for the last 4 nights with me border collie who has the shit. I too now have the shit and have been up since 3 a.m. Fell asleep again, woke up and had the shit. Brilliant. So I'm sitting here with my nice blanket, feeling terrible, but turning up never the friggin' less. I'm really trying not to swear in the first 5 minutes. I will get it eventually. I will do this. My pal pointed out that I thought I was all accomplished the other day, thinking, oh, yeah, I got through the 5 minutes. Said 47 seconds, hadn't even realised. Great stuff in it. I'd like to report as well that Have a Nice Day Stereophonics earworm has jumped the weekend as if it's a road and it's a forest fire and it continues. Have a Nice Day by the Stereophonics on a perma loop, man. It is driving us insane. And it's obvious that it's because my partner's away and I'm just kicking my heels that I haven't got people to talk to at the minute because we don't live near our family and that. So I'm like, what? I cannot deal with it. I might tell the Stereophonics story from when I was a teenager, actually, if it keeps going. That was a good one. With interactions with the actual Stereophonics. Brilliant. What else we got? Right. So today, there's a few things I just wanted to sort of like round up a bit. Things that you might not have seen and you might not actually be aware of, and also some of the maddest stuff I've seen. One of the maddest videos that I'll play in a bit. Interesting. It's an interesting time in my lives, chaps and lads and lasses and friends and Romans and countrymen, heroes and heroines and villains and villainesses. Remember that. Anyway, if you want to watch it on youtube.com/Cow Daily, that'll help me get the channel monetized. And as I say, with us having a road crash, I had a month off, and I found out that when the year turns, hours go backwards if you don't put any more hours into it. And we're so close to the watch hour threshold. So if you'd like to help us get back what we've lost, go to youtube.com/Cow Daily. I'm sounding very conscious, like my life's a country and western song, and at the minute it's like my dog almost died. It's got 3 legs, and I'm crying over you. Yeah, that's my life, basically. Just fully like the dog botherer, the dog nonce. That's where I am, a dog nonce. Say who's about? Who's in? MS is in. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. B62 Boom One's in. Afternoon. Wasn't actually expecting anybody to be in. Oh, Shelley Kelly's just popped up. You've caught one, mate, at the start as well. You're dancing. Yeah, we've caught one at the start there. As I mentioned at the start, people might not have heard it. Not very well. Got caught the shit probably off the dog, and I'm sitting here with my nice blanket. So apologies for basically not being here at 12. So Mia Mantry, hi, hello mate, nice to see you. B62 Boom One. I've got those Milky Cow Blues. I actually think there is a tune called Milk Cow Blues, you know. Mad, eh? I'll see if I can dig it out and then get done for copyright infringement. Actually, like one of the things that I wanted to tell you is, but I've held off telling you is because I've not been well since the turn of the year, is this new house that we're moving to. Yes, we're moving again. This one was always temporary. We have space where I can set up like the sort of proper full studio with all the equipment and everything like that, which you've never seen, and we can start pumping the music out and all that again. I think that's the way to do it. What's Laz saying here? Afternoon, Mr. Jazzy shirt. It's a jazzy one, aye. What Laz's parents bought, is it, for Christmas? It's a nice one, isn't it? What a nice jazzy short. Shelley Kelly's saying, I am dancing. I've been moving house after being evicted. I've missed so many. Mate, I'm really sorry to hear you've been evicted. But if you like dancing, check out Punk Food Bandita, aka Alice Wolf, who her article, which was translated by the Prisma multicultural newspaper into Spanish, also English. So if you don't speak it to Spanish, get it in English. Right. What else have we got? That's enough of these. Oh, yeah. Just do the quick in. patreon.com/cowdaily. That's patreon.com/cowdaily. If you want to support our work directly, it's always appreciated. Also, you can make a contribution via PayPal. The link for that in the description for a one-off donation to our work. Thank you, good people. We shall dance. We shall move on. TUC, what are they saying? London's mayor has launched free school meals for primary school children for a year, saving families around £440 for every child. That's class. And these are the type of things that I want to see. I am very curious as to if this can happen in London, why can't it happen in the rest of the country? And you just know there'll be some economists going, well, there's this, there's that, the third. Your beige evil is getting people killed via malnutrition. So shut up. We've clearly reached a point, and this will be a theme throughout today's show, where capitalism has hit the skids and it's a cult and people are in denial. Because, like, oh man, like, can you understand, like, for somebody like me, or probably use as well if you're watching this, like, in fact, definitely use, why I feel it's evil that like a political system doesn't like give basics to everybody. Like, I'm the one who's being told, and you're the one who's being told that we're like somehow not sensible for like wanting this to happen. And because we want it to happen, we're all going to be smeared and tarnished as like the thing that we stand against, because that's normal behavior. This is the death throes of a political system and the cult wrapped around it, capitalism, that has clearly ran its course a long time ago and has like been bailed out, as we will see in a bit. And the things like what the London Mayor Sadiq Khan has done here are great, and but they're also things that should be happening and have to happen. Because if you want to have your capitalism, you're going to have to start bailing out the people. Because what you've been doing is bailing out not the people, the corporations, and that has led to the situation that we're currently in. Whereas they just take that money offshore, or it just goes into a private small amount of hands and a black hole at that, and nobody really knows where. Strange that, isn't it? Then that has meant that that isn't being spread around in our country. Ergo, the spend isn't there and the money doesn't get recycled around the economy. And this is because of corruption. It's also because of something called capitalist realism, which renders capitalism in and of itself a cult. Capitalist realism on a basic level being just that people can't see any form of reality outside the capitalist one. And they list off a laundry list of things that they see as achievements, like our so-called civilization, or things that have been built, or like innovations. I mean, there's so many like examples of innovations under capitalism which have either been duplicated, which is a waste of time and resources, or they've been there've been things that have been innovated that didn't really need innovation. Now, I haven't got time in this show to do that, but feel free. It's the internet. It's the same device that you're watching my sorry ass on. So, you know, for this purpose of time, if you want to go and find that out for yourselves, great. Because there's a narrative that like does prevail, which is that capitalism is not to be questioned. And we see that in the two establishment parties in the UK for sure, which is strange considering one of them has democratic socialism on its membership card. Wild. If we have time, I've got a few bits and bobs about them mugs, but I'm trying not to do every day the Labour Party. And as I said in a post over the weekend, let us be really clear. We're covering the Labour Party and their dodginess because it's not being covered very much. And we know the Tories are dodgy, but I'm really concerned that we're going to go into the next election and there's going to be issues. The issues being that people are going to like bald-face just elect the Labour Party. Like they'll probably squeak in anyway, but they need to squeak in with the lowest turnout, in my view. Or like I'm erring towards the side of like just voting for the Greens or something. Just not that I believe in the Greens for wholesale, but you know, we're gonna die unless the planet gets better. So we kind of need to just send a message for whatever it is. So maybe do that, or I'll vote for like a Tusk or something like that. I'm not. At the very least, I'll spoil me ballot paper and feel like I'm 18 years old again, because that's exactly what I did. And when I was 22, and so whatever. So anyway, when is this going to start happening around the country? Free school meals for primary school children for a year. It should be rolled out now, or the Labour Party should be like announcing these type of things, because they're not announcing shit. But the thing is, you couldn't trust them anyway. And if I do have time, there's the latest reason why. I mean, this is just absolutely raj. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. So anyway, there's a couple of canaries in the coal mine for me. Like, I feel we need to point out like exactly what these things are. And I'll try and find the quote at some point, but it's from, I think, the start of Putin's reign. And there's a quote where he notes that the UK economy is very weird and insinuates easy to manipulate, because a lot of it's based on the buying and selling of inflated property. So what it says here from Reuters is UK property asking prices show weakest February gain on record, and this is from Rightmove. The Graham Vandenbergen, who tweeted this, says average asking prices for British residential property rose by just £14. That's not a typo, £14. So, I mean, with a different wind, a loss. In February from January, the smallest rise on record for a month, which normally sees a big seasonal increase. And that's why it's notable. And that's why I think it's a canary in the coal mine. And I mean, it's quite obvious, you know, if like wages are getting increasingly lower and cost of living is getting increasingly higher, which it is, then eventually something's got to give. And people are going to default on the mortgages, just like they were doing in 2008 and beyond. And that's a massive problem for an economy which was already so like beholden to property prices and them constantly going up, which is crazy. I mean, that can't happen. Like there's finite resources on the planet. Like, it's not capitalism just like it's predicated on infinite growth. It's fucking mental. Right, Bloomberg, and I'll draw the two together in a moment. Euro area braces for era of central bank losses after quantitative easing binge. Quantitative easing being where they've done this failed exercise, capitalists, where they've just poured money into the market. I mean, one of the examples that stands out for me is when Trump did it when he was still president, and it spiked the economy for the market for like 20 minutes, and then people must have had wind of it or whatever, and they just took their money out, and it actually went below what it was previously. QE just doesn't work. I mean, Gordon Brown, same again. I mean, all it does is it longs the system on. So it works in the sense of like, if you're like Gordon Brown or others, if you like whole focuses on holding the system together on the basis that ultimately provides like sustenance for everybody, it doesn't. I mean, when he did it, like trickle down economics, people were still cracking on like that was a thing that actually works. And I mean, it's been proven very clearly, certainly latterly, that it doesn't. Like, that is both through studies, but through reality, and actually just like assessing evidence on its merits rather than trying to spin it. So what's my point in bringing these two things up? Both the UK housing market showing a very small rise at its key time, and the euro, what it is, the euro area central banks will disclose their first significant losses from a decade of money printing in the coming weeks, heralding a new era of scrutiny in the prospect of taxpayer bailouts. Taxpayers, and this, we're talking about the EU here, which is being held up as some kind of like, this is the problem with like treating everything like you're supporting a football team. You don't see, or you won't talk about like the sort of the downsides or the threats or challenges of the thing that you support, or you're very less likely to. Newcastle United, I'm looking at you, fans at least. So what's happening here is, as far as I can see quite clearly, is capitalism, they've run out of ideas and they're chucking anything at the wall to see what sticks. So what they're going to try and do in the EU now is tax people heavier who have less money than they did the last time they tried to tax them. But it's just economically illiterate, because what's the knock-on effect there? I mean, people have like less money to spend in restaurants, just in the supermarket, just on the basics. We're not even at the restaurants bit now. That's done. for millions and millions of people across the world. That's done. So they can't be going and spending money on that. That's a super luxury now. So now it's cutting into their basics. In the EU are thinking, let's tax people, or like that's what we'll do. And I mean, it's just not going to work. Like it's a choice between the system or people's lives, and it's been like that for years, but it's really exacerbated now. So what's the choice? Pick a side. You know, I've started talking about pick a side. This is why it's ridiculous now. It's ridiculous that, like, and I hate to be all pick a side. I don't want to be the pick a side guy, but like, here's the evidence, right? We've got to pick a side. The side of the neoliberals, the capitalists, all of these people who are living in fucking fantasy land, and us, the people who can see this. Everything else to me is just noise. You've got like all the billionaire class, and they've got like all the different like fun things they fund because they're trying to shape humanity and their existence, and all of these horrible rats. And then you've just got us, like the people. And I don't have any answers, and none of us do, but we know what's wrong, and that's the starting point to diagnose this, isn't it? You know, like working out what's wrong, being able to like be mature enough to accept that, being able to accept it from the perspective of rationalism, and also rejecting this fucking bullshit, which is the thing that like isn't very grown up, which is we're all radicals. Using this terminology, which is also used as a pejorative by our detractors, is fucking stupidity. And it's just another open goal. And I think it's like politically illiterate. Like, we don't have to be all of the things that like other people like want us to be. Like, you know, where they flip kindness into like some kind of like bad thing, and you know, or they flip like not wanting millions of people to like live in the absolute shit, like as some kind of, you know, it's just like up is down, black is white, left is right. That's the game. It's to keep people so confused they don't know what's going on. And it's bloody unacceptable. And I'm going to show this one example of it, and it does involve the Labour Party, but fuck it, it's a really good example, and the conversation led there. So anyway, this came up, I think it was about 3 or 4 days ago, and it's Rachel Reeves, Shadow Chancellor Labour, tweeted this. New, Centrica's full-year profits are more than triple the year before. In a matter of weeks, another spike in energy prices will hit families. The government must bring in a proper windfall tax on oil and gas giants to stop energy prices rising in April. Now, we'll interrogate this after I've had a drink. 2 seconds. That sound, I'm going to have to start doing that more. My throat's well seized up at the minute. So you would think, first glance, wow, that's a good thing, isn't it? A windfall tax on oil and gas giants to stop energy prices rising in April. Let's interrogate this, shall we? Anyway, there's your boy Keir Starmer wearing a Centrica jacket. Well, I mean, look, this proves nothing, and I haven't even said what it proves yet. But he's wearing a Centrica jacket, so I thought I'd lob it in there. Shouts to Frank Owen's legendary paintbrush, right? The one thing I'd like to point out is some dude tweeting like as Frank Owen's legendary paintbrush at Warmonger Hodges, actually, on Twitter, is doing better journalism in that tweet than the majority of the media. Why? Anyway, what he's saying is Centrica are clients of Peter Mandelson's lobbying company. Mandelson worked every single day to undermine Jeremy Corbyn. Mandelson now advises Keir Starmer. I don't do the Keith thing. In 2020, Starmer pledged to bring energy back into public ownership. Now he doesn't. Isn't democracy great? Let's go further. Why is this? Oh, there happens to be Mandelson with Emily Maitlis of the media, who has the number 2 political podcast, or actually podcast in the UK, The News Agents, and was paid an absolute fortune for it. And who's the other ones who have the first or the second, the interchange? That is Alistair Campbell and Rory the Tory. Crazy, isn't it? Do you know anybody who actually listens to these things? So anyway, the Gordon Jackson 5 on Twitter says, in a functioning democracy, this picture would be all over the media and questions would be asked. It's a picture of Keir Starmer's main advisor. Yes, that's Peter Mandelson. So this is weird at this point. Like, why is Rachel Reeves like calling for windfall tax. Well, I'm going to provide some context here, right? 2 seconds. This is from Dave Summer-Smith on Twitter. Why is there such a vast difference in average energy costs? Basically, to save us reading them all out, UK is at the top with 2,960 euros as an average energy cost. France is at the bottom of that list with 650 euros. Belgium, 650 euros. Spain, 620. Germany, 558. All the way down to Poland, 174. 476 Finland. 543 Norway. And it goes on. Those are the average energy costs, right? So if Reeves is calling for it to be because there's going to be another 20% on top of that already, like in April, right? So what Reeves is calling for is for it to be brought back to this really high figure here in April, 2960, whereas everywhere else on this list, all European countries, is substantially less. So it seems to me like this is some kind of blag. So we'll go back to the original Rachel Reeves tweet. So the government must bring in a proper windfall tax on oil and gas giants to stop energy prices rising in April, grot bags, because that's how she talks, like Keir Starmer in a wig. So we're being blagged again. It's the illusion of choice again. It's these fuckers going, hey, look at the givey hand. Look at the givey hand. Yeah, fair one. The givey hand's like completely rinsing you as well and slapping you around the dish. But it's still the givey hand. So look at the givey hand. Don't you dare look at the takey hand. Why on earth is there such a vast difference in average energy costs around? And Labour's calling for that. Howard Beckett from the United Union says wholesale prices of UK gas are collapsing before our eyes. The price of gas has just fallen to its lowest level for 534 days. Ofgem must cut bills now, end the rip-off. He goes on to say France froze gas prices for 365 days of 2022. Norway covered 90% of households' extra electricity charges. In the UK, there is a 200% plus increase to bills and a political consensus not to reduce bills nor nationalise energy. It's rip-off UK. Yes, it is. This is why we point things out about the frigging Labour Party. And, you know, we get like lots of shit off people for doing it. But people know the Tories are wrong-uns. They know that they are. They're trying to claim barefacedly against all evidence that they're not. So anyway, here's your boy, Centric Keith. I said I wouldn't do it, but I have. Shouts to my pal Foot7 on Twitter, like sterling account, one of the best. So anyway, from The Guardian, the Moscow moves, how Mandelson's firm helped Uber reach Russian elite. Starmer's advisor, Mandelson, chairs Global Council, a strategic consultancy and lobbying organization with Ben Weg-Prosser, who was Tony Blair's director of strategic communications. Both monetized their access to a wide array of pro-Kremlin billionaires. Ronan Burtonshaw, editor of Tribune magazine. This is from 2021. Peter Mandelson's return as an advisor to the Starmer leadership doesn't just drag Labour to the right, it also puts a major corporate lobbyist who represents union-busting Centrica at the heart of its politics. Burtonshaw, quote, tweets, among the top clients of Peter Mandelson's lobbying firm, General Counsel, are Centrica, the union-busting company which fired and rehired thousands of British gas engineers earlier this year. Hard to believe this man is anywhere near a Labour Party. And just on this basis, I mean, if you want to know what pictures on the screen, audio people, I suggest you go to what I do is I post the premiere of this with more description, all of that, edited as well from 7 p.m. every night during the week. So if you want to know what the picture is, audio people, go and have a look at it. This picture alone should have been enough. But it's not, and it's not even talked about. And if you want to start coming with the like, oh, you know, the press can't do everything. Look at the way that like Corbyn and was wall to wall, right? Now look at this. Look at that. Listen, like Corbyn could have brushed past a nonce in the street, right? And it would have been still wall to wall, and it would have been happening last year. The media would have been not shutting up. What's going on here? And I'll tell you what else, right? They're talking about the red wall this, the red wall that. Do you know, right, in Hartlepool, like Mandelson, because that's who it was a picture of with somebody, he was like the amount I saw, like the WhatsApp stuff that was going around about Tim used to be the Hartlepool MP. Like, you must be having a laugh, man, right? A lot of the people, right, are like fully like who oppose the Labour Party through the Corbyn era, and they've had their heads mashed by the billionaires and how socialism's all bad and whatever, right? The working class end of that, like probably exemplified by Lee Anderson, 30% pence Lee as being their like sort of spirit animal. I don't know. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of that type of person around, right? So Mandelson's gonna lose them a load of votes because it's all intimately linked into the sort of conspiracy theory. What would we call it? I don't even know what we call it anymore, but like the sort of conspiracy theorist sort of sector. So people already know about like all of this. So if you think for 1 second that type of person isn't going to shout and scream about that come a general election, if that type of person isn't going to shout and scream about the fact that Starmer stood on to get elected on the 2017 and 19 manifestos, you've got another thing coming. And then you just line that up with the fact that Scotland, he's appealing to Scotland to vote for them. And anybody knows that's not happening. By the way, I'm on low battery here. 2 seconds. I'll see if I can find the air charger. Done the cardinal sin. Will I get there in time and not lose the whole show? It's in. Thank God for that there. So anyway, Mandelson, like, what are you talking about, man? Like, it's clown world, man. Like, that should have been enough. It should have been enough, but it's not. So what the hell is going on? Anyway, that has been Cow Daily, but I'm going to take some of your comments first. Nearly got off there. 2 seconds, right? Just scrolling back to see if I can pull some things out. Right, B62 Boom 1 is saying the bigger question is why children don't already get free meals as a matter of course. Definitely. Wales has either brought it in or about to. Wales is a far better country than England, that's why. Right. LD Boydo, late at the show, feel you on the earworm. I've had Dido's song Thank You stuck in my head. The chorus of this was also used in Eminem Stan, so that occasionally passes plays instead. Oh man, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's a beast of a one. Proper Gillette version and all, isn't it? Right. Jacqueline Hemmons. Hi, everyone. Sorry about your health problems. I had that the other day. Not fun. Tell us about it. It's not been nice this morning, but the north will rise again. I'm taking some lactobacillus when I get off this and drinking peppermint tea. Oh, no, I've put ginger in. Gutted. Not drinking peppermint tea. Better get on that after this. What we got? El Boyado saying, I'll say it like this. People complain that things are getting worse, but they keep trying to fix it with more neoliberalism, innit? It's like capitalism's broken. Shall we prescribe a different style of capitalism and just see if that works? It's fucking not going to work. And it hasn't ever worked because for me, a system can't work unless it like meets the needs of everybody. And show me where capitalism has ever done that. It hasn't. So intrinsically, it's got baked in evil. And people like really try and get past that with like, well, not everybody can win, and then have another fucking sip of their gin and tonic. Right. Well, here's the problem. Like more and more and more and more and more people till you reach a sweet spot and your society collapses and your precious system gets taken away from you. These are things that happen throughout history. Slaz, what? Mr. Koo, you should post the images from this on your YouTube community page for reference. What images? What images, dude? Let us know. Are you talking about the slides and whatever? I would, but to be honest with you, I'm trying to get people to come here instead of go there. So, I mean, when I'm better and I've got more time and more headspace, what I want to do later in the afternoon and evenings is make like little TikTok videos and shorts and things like that. I just don't have the time, and I'd love to employ an editor, but I just don't have the money. If we ever get to that point, which I hope we will, patreon.com/cowdaily or PayPal link in the description for a one-off donation. And if we ever get to that point, we'll fucking kill it because that's where all of the organic reach is in these short videos. But I literally am one man. So I hear what you're saying, but I honestly think it'll take away from building this at the moment. So need to work out ways of getting like the work of too many people done in one man. Mia's saying, as someone who was homeschooled, I think the right to food will ensure everyone is fed, child or adult, schooled or homeschooled. It feels more universal. I agree. I think that's Ian Byrne, the Liverpool Labour MP, who was scurrilously trying to be kicked out. I think that's his campaign, and I agree with you completely. Right, chaps, I'm off back to my sick bed because I'm starting to feel the bubble in the stomach, which is never a good sign, is it? But hey, we did it. We did it. I've timed it, so we did it. But I've still got to walk my dog because he's got the shits. This is bad. What if I shit myself in the street? What if he shits himself in the house? These are all the conundrums that I'm dealing with. I've still got a dodgy arm. But what have I done? I took your advice and shaved the other one, so I look like a mug. If you don't know why I shaved that one, you weren't tuning in last week. Shameful. Should do it every day. Bye. Well, it'll be by in a moment when I actually find the thing. That would have been a mint place. This is why I need an editor. Crash cut straight out on that. That actually hurt. Ow. Right, see you later. All love to you as well, by the way. And thanks for just popping up on the rando, because at the minute I have to be sporadic with this. I've just looked at the next week with a house move as well. We'll be getting it done, but us just 12 o'clock's just fantasy. However, new place next week. Come and check out the new studio next week. All the very best to you. Ta-da.